I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Board of Leavenworth County Commissioners. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to start with a moment of silence. I'd like everyone to pray for the person who lost their life yesterday in Leavenworth with the tree falling on the house, and then all the tornado victims, just not in our county. And please pray for your emergency responders to keep everybody safe in this cleanup effort. Roll call. Commissioner Stevens is present. Commissioner SCHIMKE is absent. Commissioner Smith is present. Commissioner KAAZ is present. And Commissioner Culberson is present. We'll open up with public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward at this time. State your name.
Hi, my name is Dirk Hoagland. I'm the owner and operator of J&N Ranch over on Highway 5 in the eastern part of the county. I'm coming before you guys today on behalf of the Leavenworth and Wyandotte County KLA organization. Kansas Livestock Association has got a rich history in the state, 125 years old, and every year we have a county meeting for everybody, all the members to get together for fellowship and to discuss the issues that we're facing. And I wanted to extend the invitation to all of you. I know Commissioner SCHIMKE is planning on coming, and I was hoping that maybe the rest of you would be able to join us as well. It's June 13th. The social starts at 6 p.m. and then dinner will be at 6:30. And part of what I'd like to do is, as chairman of the county organization, is to have you all speak just briefly about some of the issues that the county is dealing with. Obviously the weather has been a big issue and that type of thing, and those affect the agricultural community, of course, a lot in the county. And I don't know if you guys have any questions about what that might entail, but the CEO of the Kansas Livestock Association will be there as well and talk. I drafted up an email and sent it to Commissioner SCHIMKE, and I think he forwarded it to you guys, so hopefully you got a chance to see that.
I plan on attending.
I'll attend.
Okay, that'd be great. Great, look forward to it.
Your organization, they provide scholarships and stuff like that.
Yes.
I go to dinners every year.
Yep.
Thank you.
I plan on being here. Thank you.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, anyone else for public comment wishing to speak? And we'll close public comment and get on with administrative business. Mr. LOUGHRY.
We have a few things on administrative business this morning. The first one, the Leavenworth County Emergency Management Coordinator, Mr. Chuck McGaha, had sent up a request for a declaration of emergency, not in relation to last night's storm, but in relation to the Missouri River flooding. And he's not able to be here today because he is dealing with the storm damage from last night. And he asked if the commission would consider approving the current, you have in front of you the current declaration, so that he can get that filed for the flood damage. And then I assume he will have another one for last night's damage as well, that I think it'd be okay to authorize the chairman to sign once it's prepared, if you would do that as well.
So I entertain a motion on approving the local disaster declaration for Leavenworth County for the flooding. And then I'd like to have something that would authorize the chairman to sign anything, a declaration for last night's tornadoes.
Motion to approve the disaster declaration for the river flooding, and to authorize the board chair to sign declaration regarding the damage associated with the storm and tornado last night, which was the 27th of May, 2019.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on any future declarations? Seeing none?
Just want to get the resources to where they need to be.
Yep. Any other further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
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 Okay. And along with that, is the appraiser's office going to be on scene on these homes that have been completely destroyed to get them off the tax roll?
Yeah.
To give some relief to these folks?
There'll be a few things that the appraiser's office has to be involved in. And Mr. McGaha I've been in contact with him this morning. He's been in contact with the appraiser. There are a couple of issues. One, obviously, the tax roll relief for buildings that were damaged over a certain percentage. Two, because there is potential for some of these that would be in a floodplain, they have to be analyzed before any work can be done to them. If they're in the floodplain and there's over 50% damage, they have to come in compliance with current regulations. The state of Kansas already reached out to us this morning to make sure that we're properly evaluating that. I'm not sure if there are any, but we will be looking at that as well with the appraiser's offices involved. And while we're talking about that, one of the things from in the last night while we were in the emergency operations centers, listening to the traffic on the radio, and then again this morning, one of the biggest things that they're dealing with is not the storm damage, but the issues created by, well, people who have they want to go out and help. They're well-meaning, but they create a problem. There was traffic, I don't know if you saw the news or not, but it was reported, and there was traffic backed up on every road leading into that area last night, and the equipment that was trying to get around to clear the roads couldn't get around because the well-wishers or the sightseers were down there blocking traffic. It's ongoing last night. It's still a problem today, and while I know people want to get down there and help, the best thing you can do is stay out of the area until the people who are trained and have the equipment to deal with this have had a chance to get in there and clean it up. The roads last night were completely blocked from debris. They were able to get most roads open with just one lane of travel. Now they have, and that was just by pushing the debris off the roads. Today they're out picking up the debris, trying to handle that. There's heavy equipment down there. These guys have been working for extended periods of time. The last thing they need is to have to deal with traffic and sightseers in the area. There will be time for that after they get out of there and get things cleaned up. Tomorrow, the next day is probably going to be better, but today I just would ask that everybody stay out of the area, let the professionals get down there and do the work, and then go from there.
And where is the staging area going to be set up for volunteers and to receive donations and stuff like, what'd you say, water, bleach, stuff like that?
I think the Red Cross will coordinate that. They had talked about opening up a shelter last night, but they didn't have the demand necessary for it. Most of the people had already either found shelter with relatives or the motels in the area. As far as staging for donations and whatnot, the Red Cross will coordinate that. I haven't gotten that information yet, but it would assume it will be at a location in Tonganoxie away from where the crews are working today. I know the Emergency Operations Center is obviously in the basement of the courthouse, but they do have at the annex in Tonganoxie, they are also coordinating out of there. They have police, fire, EMS in that location as well.
So the fairgrounds also.
Fairgrounds is another potential, so I don't believe that has been established yet, but when it is, we will put that out so people can have it. And just a little bit of information on it, because I'm sure people are interested. There were 30 to 50 homes damaged. At least 20, they believe, were completely damaged. There were only minor injuries reported. Last night, there was no one in Leavenworth County that was transported by our staff to any hospitals. So I'm not saying they weren't They didn't self-transport, but we did not transport anybody. The crews were out until probably midnight cleaning roads, just to get one lane passable so emergency responders could be in the area and that folks could get back to their homes if they lived in that area. They are blocking traffic today as much as possible to try to keep people out of that area. And so we were, while it is devastating to some families and it was a terrible thing, the county was actually very lucky in the path, because I would say it missed Linwood by less than a quarter of a mile. And that would have been really, truly devastating. So I never like to see these things happen, but we are thankful of the path that it did take, which was almost the exact K-32 route. And then it lifted up before it went into Wyandotte County and avoid the Legends area where there's a lot of people in all those apartments that are over there. So again, just really, it's hard to say you ever get lucky in these situations, but we did have some luck
Oh,
on
if
our
there was
side.
no fatalities, we're very lucky.
We're very fortunate, very fortunate.
Couple comments. The Elm Grove Church on Friday night is going to open up and have a chili supper to raise money for the Red Cross. And it's open to the public, invited. And during the day on Friday, they're going to offer food for the emergency responders, families that are in
Okay.
need of that. And I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know that's on
For
on
Friday.
par for Friday. So, and people have been calling me, what can we do? What can we do? Well, come to this fundraiser and give money to the Red Cross. That's one of the best things you can do. And
When is that, Mike?
Friday
night.
6 o'clock.
And the county attorney's office is drafting a memorandum regarding gouging. So that should be disseminated this
Okay.
morning at some point, so. Not that anybody would do such a thing.
So I take it the church did not get damaged last night?
I don't know if there's any like roof damage or that kind of.
Because Bear
not-
Lake's,
not-
Bear Lake's just right there.
Not serious damage.
Okay,
I mean, not structural damage.
okay. So, church taking donations of water and stuff like that?
That hasn't been like
Okay.
finalized, but yeah, I'm sure.
So, when there is a drop-off point, how will we get that word out to everybody? Because I know there's a lot of people like.
Use social media.
Yeah, we'll do social media and press release. We'll get it out to all the media outlets. The emergency management team, they have direct connections to all the local media outlets who have been very good about putting that information out. So once they have that established, they will put that out. And again, I believe that will be coordinated through the Red Cross, the local Red Cross.
And there'll be a list of needs?
Yeah, they put out a list.
Yep.
Okay.
Red Cross does.
Because I know a lot of people want to help.
A lot of times, like gift card, like cards,
Yo,
that have
Yep.
stuff loaded on them, because I know that the Red Cross will hand those out, and
Okay.
We have a couple other items here. All the commissioners have received copies of any applicants for the Planning and Zoning Commission. I had an email sent out to you on Friday that listed those who had applied and what districts they were in. I think simple math will tell you that we are one short in either the 1st or 4th district. The 3rd, 5th, and 2nd district all had 2 or more applicants. Because we are limited to 2 in any given district, that means we need one of either the 1st district or the 4th district to have a second applicant at least. But the commission has operated in the past with only 8, so that won't stop them from moving forward if you don't get someone. But hopefully you can recruit someone, or Commissioner Schimke or Commissioner Culbertson could recruit somebody to apply.
One dropped out.
Next week, it's not on today, but next week, if the commissioners could go through the applicants and make the 2 recommended appointments for your districts, for those that have more than 2, or that have 2, if you're comfortable with those, if you can make those recommendations, we'd be happy to put it on in the agenda packet, or you can discuss it next Wednesday But if you get it to us before Friday, we'd be happy to put that in next week's agenda packet so that people know who, if they want to show up, if they want to be here. And with our intention would be that next week, Wednesday, you would appoint the new or existing members reappointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
By next week, you say?
Next week would be our intention that you would make the appointments.
Representative.
So, again,
Right there in Alexander.
We just
Right.
need to
I mean,
find
he
this
must just be
other
like
person,
a
so.
sneeze away from.
well, if you can, I mean, like I said, 8, I can't operate with 8. I just want to make sure that that's okay with the commission, that we put that on next week's agenda for the appointment or reappointment of the Planning and Zoning Commissioners. And if you get those names to us in advance, by Friday, we can put it on the agenda. If not, we can still add them on Wednesday if need be.
Okay. Right. Good idea.
No, until I found out he was in my district. I thought
One
that
last
was
item.
because of his address.
Yeah, it's right on.
A couple of weeks ago, the
Address.
board heard a presentation on transportation needs in the county from Nancy Bowder, who is our representative on the KCATA, excuse me.
KCATA.
Yeah, KCATA. And she's asked if she could schedule a work session with the Board of County Commissioners, and she's coordinating with some of the local, other local officials in the area and KDOT on the 12th from 1 to 3 at the Guidance Center. And they have a large meeting room there that she's asked if we could have that. I needed to bring that to the board and see if you supported that, since it will include more than, all of you are invited, obviously. It would be a public meeting, and I need to know if this board is okay with that, or if that will work in your schedule. That's a normal.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. Maybe we ought to invite somebody from the Mid-America Regional Council.
I think that Nancy is coordinating all that, but I will
Okay.
follow up with her on that. But again, it would be at the Guidance Center from 1 to 3 on the 12th, which is our normal work session time.
So that'll be our work session.
That will be our
That'll
work
Where our
session.
work session is located.
Yes.
So John, you'll have to travel. That's fine. I'm good, and the rest of the commissioners okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will pass that along.
Okay.
And that is all I had for administrative business today.
Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Has commissioners had a chance to look at everything on the consent agenda?
Yes, sir.
I'll recuse myself from voting on the consent agenda.
Okay, all right.
Other than pulling.
That's fine, we got enough to pass.
Yep.
Do we need to separate, or just go ahead and just recuse yourself from the whole consent agenda?
I don't think we need to separate
We don't
it.
need to separate it, I'll just.
As long as there's a
There's a
majority vote.
Majority to vote.
Okay. All right.
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Got a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any further discussion? If not, voting? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. All right. And you said the sheriff wants to be pulled off today in
Yeah,
the schedule?
The sheriff can't make today's meeting, and he would like to be here for his presentation on the P25 compliant cooperation agreement with Fort Leavenworth, so if we move that to next week.
Okay, I'm sure the sheriff's pretty busy right now. So we're ready for Public Works. We need to get Mr. Spickelmeyer out of here also. He's kind of busy today.
For whole busy days, ladies and gentlemen.
Some more than others.
Wow.
Yes.
That was, I mean, you fed that right into that.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 items to present to the Board of County Commissioners from the Leavenworth County Public Works Department. The first item is the bids for the Group 2 dust abatement projects. We received the bids in accordance with the Leavenworth County purchasing policy, opened them at 10:30 a.m. on May 16th. The bids are listed as presented. A bid tabulation was also presented. It is our recommendation to proceed with the alternate number 2 and the low bid from McEnany Construction in the amount of $1,722,292.24. This is the cement stabilized base option with the 4-inch asphalt overlay.
Right.
Commissioners have any questions?
Will they make adjustments for sight distance? Things in the, when they're,
Ma'am, the consultant, Schlegel and Associates, has done an engineering review on all of the roadways and has made a deficiency analysis, and that deficiency analysis is what is used for the program as presented. So that is part of the deficiency analysis that is performed by the consultant.
thank you. Good, okay.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move that we, I move that we award bid for alternative number 2 to McEnany Construction for dust abatement projects in Group 2 in the amount of $1,722,292.24.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None? Voting?
Aye.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, the second item before you is the Group 3 dust abatement projects. You'll notice that there was more bidders on Group 3 than Group 2. We made a little bit of some changes in that we, based upon our experience with the chip seal and the capabilities of the contractors, we found that by changing the way we worded our project, we wanted to ensure that the contractors were aware that even if they didn't bid the chip seal, that their other bids would be considered, so that they didn't feel like they were forced into a base bid in an alternate situation. And moving forward with the groups subsequent to this, we'll also make some language modifications to encourage as many bidders as possible, because we are definitely understanding that the more competition, the better. So there were 4 bids in this case. We are also recommending alternate number 2, which is the cement stabilized base with the 4-inch asphalt surface. The low bid for Group 3 was Bettis Asphalt. It is our recommendation to award for the low bid of $1,845,747.43.
I would note that even though both of these are coming to you today, the bids were opened a week apart. So that's also when you look at the 2 versus 4, they weren't opened on the same day. So it was a little bit of a delay. So we had the opportunity to let those other contractors know that they didn't have to bid the chip seal to be considered.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to award bid for alternative number 2 to Bettis Asphalt and Construction for dust abatement projects in Group 3 in the amount of $1,845,747.44.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on these projects? Do we have a time frame? That
These, the contract requires these to be completed in this construction season. So once
I'm
we,
hoping weather really cooperates.
yes, Commissioner.
Do they have to break ground in 14 days? Is that
No.
is that part of this?
No, they have a contractual working schedule, and the sooner we issue a notice to proceed, the sooner that clock starts ticking. The advantage of the alternate number 2 is that it actually lengthens our window a little bit by only having 1 asphalt lift, and we can do that a little bit later, although we'd rather not. But,
December's sometimes
it's-
nice up to
I don't like
Christmas.
to, but
I think they have plenty of advance notice, and as soon as the roads dry out to the point where they can get out and do their prep work, they'll probably get started on these. But once it's the key is once we issue the notice to proceed, that starts the clock on their contract. The other thing I would, before you can vote first, or I can let you know now, but we did have some projects that were identified by the board, the PRP projects that were approved last year. You don't see them on these first 3 groups. However, it is our intention. They are under the deficiency review process right now. That should be done pretty quickly. And we will contact one of the vendors who's already providing these services about a change order to add those quantities onto their current contract.
And
So
just use the unit prices.
unit prices, that work will get done this year. It's our intention to have it added so it can get done this year.
Did you hear that, Mr. Angel? All right, I have a motion and a second, no further discussion, voting?
Aye.
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 And ladies and gentlemen, our third item is a little bit unique in that, under the purchasing policy, there are funds available in the capital account. However, it was not foreseen to expend this year, so we need authorization to expend the funds. There is, at the annex, if anyone's been there, there's a lot of temperature disparity between the operating of the working area behind the glass and the waiting area. And one of the most cost-effective solutions that we think we've come up with is just a zoned system on the existing HVAC. We went out to our vendor and we received a quote in the amount of $4,884.40 to install this zoned system. Our Buildings and Grounds has taken a look and they feel this is probably the most cost-effective solution. But under the guidance of the purchasing policy, we require action of the Board of County Commissioners. So we are seeking that today.
Commissioners have any questions?
Thought our cutoff was $5,000.
Well, actually, as long as they follow purchasing policy, it's more than that if it's budgeted. This was an unbudgeted
Oh,
expenditure, and
got
according
it.
to the policy amendment that was made last year, it
Got it.
requires board to approve it first.
I see.
Motion to authorize Building and Grounds to hire J.F. Denny to install motorized dampers through the HVA system at the Leavenworth County Annex in the amount of $4,884.40.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, before you go, I just wanted to ask, you're not having any hiccups with Millwood Road plans, bridge?
Oh, just to provide a quick update. Matter of fact, we received all of our RFPs in accordance with the Drexel submittal that we put out there. So we've got 4 good RFPs. So at this time, I think I'll get with the county administrator and we'll schedule a selection committee so that we can start getting them under contract so that we can get this process moving even faster. So yes.
Cool beans.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're ready for planning and zoning.
Good morning.
Hey, Chris.
This is case number DEV 19038, an application for a special use permit for an agribusiness, Happy Apples Farm. This is the first special use permit request from this business. The applicant operates a plant nursery from 17524 178th Street, as well as selling a secondary product of alpaca fiber. The alpaca fiber comes from the small herd of 7 alpacas kept in pasture on the property. The applicant is the only full-time employee with part-time help from family and 1 additional part-time helper during growing season. In addition to an existing barn, hoop house, and greenhouse, the applicant is proposing 6 additional shade structures and 1 additional hoop house. Operation is seasonal mid-April through early October, and the business is open for a half-day on Saturdays. The detached garage and greenhouse serve as retail space for the business during these hours. The Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of this special use permit, subject to conditions. This is Resolution 2019-14. Thank you.
Okay, we'll open up the public hearing on the agribusiness, Happy Apples Farm. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the business? Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition of the business? This doesn't fall under the agritourism business? or-
It still requires a special use permit because it's an agribusiness.
Okay. All right. Then we'll close public hearing and go back, return to regular session. Commissioners have any questions on the special use permit?
Have we adjusted our time limit on special use permits yet? Or is it still 5 years?
Based on the direction, I think we were recommending 10 years on this, and the Planning Commission is recommending 10 years.
Okay.
So entertain a motion.
It's 5 years.
Motion to approve resolution
It's 5.
2019-14, issuing a special use permit for an agribusiness Happy Apple Farm, subject to all conditions.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
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 Change the resolution. Okay, this is case number DEV 19038, the renewal for special use permit for Suncatcher Lake RV Park. This property was rezoned as a PUD in 1997 and has obtained and renewed a special use permit multiple times over the years. Suncatcher Lake RV Park has been in operation since 2005 and has obtained and renewed special use permit with the county. The applicants manage the campground and there are no employees. They do not provide food or beverage, and the lagoon is permitted through the state, and they are compliant with their permit. The submitted site plan shows 36 recreational vehicle camping stalls and 1 shower house. The applicant is proposing 3 additional camping stalls and 1 additional shower house. And the additional recreational camping vehicle stalls and shower house will be constructed as demand warrants. The Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of this renewal request, subject to conditions. This is Resolution 2019-15. Thank you.
We'll open up the public hearing portion for the special use permit for Suncatcher Lake RV Park. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the park, please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the park? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing, return to regular session. Commissioners have any questions on this? I drive by it
Yep,
every
I was
day.
gonna say,
It's a nice
It's a nice
place.
place. It really is.
Obviously, it's filling the need in the county, so.
Recreation.
I'd like to make a motion. We approve Resolution 2019-15, issuing a special use permit for Suncatcher Lake RV Park.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the RV park? Seeing none, voting?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. This request to rezone a parcel of land from rural residential 2.5 to a planned unit development. The applicant is requesting this action in order to bring the property into compliance with the zoning and subdivision regulations. This has a long history. Basically, most of the buildings on that property, the county at one point issued permits, and also all the septic systems have permits. So, but it actually doesn't meet the zoning and subdivision regulations because it's multifamily, and it's a single-family zoned residential right now. So we've been talking to the applicant for almost a year. We're trying to figure out a way to bring it into compliance. And the only way to do it is to rezone it to a planned unit development, which allows them to have the multifamily as well as single-family. Staff is supportive of that due to the fact that it's close to a commercial zone district, and also the comprehensive plan talks about a mixed-use development in this area. So that's the only way to bring it into compliance, and the applicant has applied for that. So the Planning Commission looked at it, and they are recommending 9-0 to approve the rezoning. And then we also have to approve a preliminary and final plat.
Okay. So the parcel out close to the highway, that's commercial.
It's commercial, and then to the back, it's, right now it's single-family residential, but they have multiple buildings there, and this is the only way to bring it into compliance.
So you're going to extend Mitchell Road.
Yeah, it'll be a private drive
So it
from
won't
that
be-
point on, so.
But that would be considered road frontage.
Correct. They have the road frontage, that's why it's a planned unit development. It doesn't need that road frontage to meet the requirements. And also, the private drive would help get some road frontage for all those parcels. It's a really difficult situation, you know, we tried
Yeah, I used to
our
plow the
best.
snow back here, it's very difficult.
How did it get in there?
The cul-de-sac's not that big or anything, get turned around.
I'm just curious, how did it happen without any coming before the planning and zoning?
That
How did
happened a long
The
time
old-
ago, I'm
No,
not sure.
I just was curious.
The old plat, Janice Voigt.
I imagine Mr. Van Perry's was here at that time.
Commissioner
Probably
KAAZ.
land use.
Commissioner KAAZ, the best I could offer is some things are left best unexplained.
Okay, I think I understand now.
Just fix the problem.
Yeah, just fix the problem.
Does anybody have any other questions, Mr. Joseph, on this?
Require a public hearing? No?
Yes, this does require a public hearing.
Yes.
So we'll open up the public hearing portion of the rezone request. Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition of this? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in favor of this? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing, return to regular session. Commissioners have any other questions on this?
So we're doing two different issues. We're approving the rezoning and then the plat itself.
So we have to approve the rezoning first and then the plat.
Okay.
And the private, it's a private road that goes to the apartment?
It's-
Yes.
It's a public
private.
road
Public.
halfway back, then it becomes a private road.
Correct. The
And
reason
new
for that
plat.
is there's already an entrance to the south, so we cannot just make it a private drive all the way, because there's already an entrance there that
Why
connects
shouldn't-
to a different property.
Why shouldn't they have to pay to make it a public road all the way?
Well-
I'm just a little bit, I'm trying to be educated here.
The reason for that, we need to ask for additional right-of-way, and also we have to maintain that portion. So if you make it private, then the applicant is responsible for maintaining that piece of roadway. And we have a maintenance agreement that they have to sign.
Okay, all right.
And I think part of the point is, this isn't created to build any new buildings or new houses.
No,
This is
nothing,
just to
nothing new,
fix
it's just
the
existing,
Yeah.
existing
Yeah.
problem, trying to fix
Yeah.
that. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I did attend the planning commission meeting in which this issue was brought forward. The owner of the property came forward to the planning and zoning office to attempt to remedy an existing situation that was less than optimal. As Mr. Joseph stated to you, this process has been going on for over a year, trying to find a solution to best fit in an existing situation which the current owner was not responsible for. So again, I'll use the phrase less than optimal, but the best we can come up with.
Chad's got a different phrase for it, I think.
Yes.
John hadn't printed that paper, but it's accurate.
Fits this one.
Any other questions, anybody on this? Anyone want to make a motion?
Sure. Let's see. This is on the page. So we just got to start with,
I think it's on the top
So-
there. Right there.
but don't we need the first,
You got to
Motion.
rezone it first.
right?
It'll be resolution 2019-16.
Let's see, to approve case number DEV 19-037, the rezone from rural 2.5 to a planned unit development.
Well, that's what we're asking for, but this
That's
is the
what-
motion right there for this
Oh,
one. Yeah,
okay.
Right there.
Motion to approve resolution 2019-16, rezoning from RR 2.5 to a planned unit development, subject to all conditions.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Voting?
Aye.
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 And the next item is the preliminary and final plat on this. Doesn't require a public hearing.
Okay. Commissioners have any question on the preliminary and final plat on Eldridge Estates? You okay with it, Mike? Okay. Yes, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve case, well, let's see, is that this one?
Yes.
Okay, case number DEV 19-035 and 036, a preliminary and final plat for Eldridge Estates,
Second?
Have a motion. and a
subject to all conditions, sorry.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on Eldridge Estates? Seeing none, voting? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
This is case number DEV 19017, an application for the renewal of a special use permit for a contractor's yard, Angels Excavating. This business has had a special use permit at this location since 2003. At the Planning Commission meeting, staff brought up the concern for the need for screening on the property, but the Planning Commission voted against adding any additional conditions. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 with one abstaining to recommend approval of this renewal request, subject to conditions. This is Resolution 2019-17. Thank you.
Commissioners have any comments on this? Why would you want a screen around it?
Well, if you look at, we have some pictures to show you. If you look at the pictures, it's really a mess back there, so, that's what we wanted to.
So is the county's property just a few feet away from it? County doesn't have a screen around all their quarry equipment and stuff. I would hate for the county to have to purchase a fencing to go around that.
That's just a recommendation.
Okay. All right, Commissioners have any questions on this? It's been operating there for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We always collect traffic impact fee on state highway?
Yes, on special use permits, we do.
We do? What do we do with the money?
It goes into the township.
Well, we don't approve in state highways, do we?
Well, they use it for other roads, arterial roads in that same township.
And they're using them to.
Well, but if your address is on a state highway, it shouldn't be
But
impacting our road.
they still use the other county roads to get there, and that's kind of the
Okay.
impact to the county.
All right.
The state's not giving us any money, so why should we?
Yeah, they might here in a little bit.
Yeah, but they aren't.
Oh, they used to.
They used to, but they don't anymore, so we need to
Okay.
get it where we can.
All right. Well, that's one way of looking at it, so. Any other questions or anything about this? And I'll entertain a motion.
This,
Move.
before you make the motion,
public
I did, because of the conversation that we have had earlier, as presented right now, this is a 5-year.
Oh, year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if the
I
board
couldn't read his
wanted
lips
to,
good then.
Can we adjust that? in
if the
motion?
board wanted to amend that, they
Yeah,
could.
Okay,
and
The
the
tra-
motion.
The traffic impact fee is calculated off of 5 years, so if you're going to make this a 10-year, say, renewal, you might also allow us to double that fee to.
Okay, a motion to approve resolution 2019-17, issuing a special use permit for Angels Excavating, subject to all conditions as with amendment to be extended to a 10-year term with the, also amending the
Traffic impact fee.
traffic impact fee.
Before we second that, do we do public hearing?
Not on this.
No, don't need to.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, it's a special use permit, it's a public hearing.
Oh, there is a public hearing?
I'm sorry, you don't need an additional hearing to amend the terms and conditions of SGP, but you do need to open and close
Okay.
a public hearing.
For the original.
All right.
So
Yeah.
do that before we,
All right.
you want me to make the?
No, I'll open up the public hearing. We'll open up a public hearing on Angels Excavating, or anyone here wish to speak in favor of it?
Hello, my name's Kelly Angel. Address is 19228 McLeod Road, Tonganoxie, Kansas, and that's my excavator yard. And I knew they wanted to put a privacy fence up. I didn't agree with that, which I think they've got that figured out. I didn't believe I need to pay a TIF due to the fact that you can't use Hatchell Road coming out of my yard anyway, because it's dangerous and you can't cut that corner with any of my equipment. I use only K-16 highway, and I would like to have at least a 10. I had a 10 before, and then they cut me back to a 5, and I'd like to have at least a 10, if not a 15. So that was the only thing I wanted.
We're trying to go consistent now with 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't made it a rule
Kind of
yet.
heard you back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't made the rule yet, but we're going to put it in the motion to make it 10.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant in favor? Then we'll go in opposition. Anyone here in opposition of the Angels Excavating contractor yard? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing and return to regular session. Have any questions on this?
Nope. And the motion still stands.
So the exact same motion that I made before.
And that had included the 10-year.
Right.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on Angels Excavating? Seeing none, voting?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we were talking earlier, it's kind of something that stuck with me. When we were talking about there could be the possibility of some of these homes that were damaged in the tornado that are in the floodplain or not in compliance. And what's going to happen there?
The state sent out a notification to us this morning that we have to certify whether they're in or out of the floodplain and what percentage of damage there is. Because of FEMA regulations, if they're damaged over 50%, which means they're going to have to be rebuilt, and they are in the floodplain, they have to be compliant with current floodplain regulations.
And you think we may have some of these?
I have no idea. I have not seen where the homes are located as opposed to the floodplain, but we are required to review that. The state just put us on notice this morning to make sure that we didn't miss that as part of this, so.
Okay. Well, I guess we can look at the floodplain map.
Well,
Yeah.
before the last floodplain map, there weren't any. But with
Yeah.
the new updated floodplain map, there might be.
Like along 32?
Yeah, because if FEMA did a buyout, and they didn't buy all the houses, but I know in that area they did from the previous floodplain map. But then they came out with a new floodplain map, which changed the boundaries of the floodplain, so there may be some according to the new map.
Okay.
That could
So
complicate.
that could complicate things. I was wondering
Yeah.
if there's anything the county can do to help this out or to
Well-
get people through this or?
We obviously, we can't supersede
Right,
FEMA
no, I
regulations,
understand
so.
that.
But the first thing is to just identify and see if there's even a problem.
Okay.
And we'll be working with the planning and zoning and emergency
And will
management. to-
planning and zoning be the contact person for the people that could have a problem? Is that, and you'll take care of it? Everything good?
And you'll have that information for us as soon as possible.
Yes, yeah, they'll start reviewing as soon as we have all the damage identified. They'll
We can,
overlay that on there.
Floodplain map's right outside the door. We can kind of get an idea.
Yeah, they'll overlay that to make sure if any of these are in there. They'll notify the property owners.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, in 2001, the commission adopted a resolution, basically, that these homes will not need to obtain a new building permit, or will not pay the fee for a building permit. The reconstruction, they will not pay any RIF or TIF. I could only offer that in the offhand event there were some other complication with respect to whether a lot is buildable or not, under county regulations, that could be brought forward to you as in the form of a variance.
We just need to do as much as we can to simplify this process. And like I said, I think the appraiser's office needs to get these things off the tax roll that are completely destroyed, so no sense in paying on them. So, commissioners have anything to add before we adjourn?
I will add, that just, everyone is invited to come to the Elm Grove Church, and Congressman Watkins is going to tour some of the damage.
Friday.
No, that's today,
Oh, today.
11 o'clock.
Oh. Are we doing a work session today?
No, there's no
No.
work session today.
Okay.
We got Port Authority, we got the
EMS.
blessing of the our emergency vehicles today at St. John's at 10:45. I'm going to go to that.
I'll go to that as well.
I'll be at the church tonight, and then we'll deal with the stuff Friday and help out there and see if we can't get some information out about that.
You want me to go to the Port Authority meeting?
Can you?
I can do that.
Okay. Or was that okay?
Or were you going to?
You didn't want to go, did you?
I would just reiterate to those who are interested in touring the damage, give it a day, let them get through today so the roads are cleared, the heavy equipment has a chance to operate without interference. Stay out of the area, if at all possible.
All right.
And if you have the volunteer, everybody wants to do something. I've gotten several calls, people wanting to
Right.
volunteer.
Call the Red Cross.
That's the Red Cross, and you're gonna be able to do the things at the church and bring food and that kind of thing.
And I'm sure in the near future, they will have a staging area.
They will identify that. I'm sure today they'll be identifying those things for the Red Cross. And we do have outside agencies coming in today to help. They were already in contact last night. So we have a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of heavy trucks that are going to be moving up and down the roads out there. The last thing they need to do is be interfered with by people who have well-wishers that want to help but aren't equipped to help. So just stay out of the area. There will be plenty of time to see what happened later. And I'm sure the news helicopters will show it on TV today as well, and that's the safest route. Watch it on TV. Stay out of the area.
Okay,
Thanks, Mark.
thank you. So if you'll take care of that, I'll go to Port Authority and St. John's.
Same here.
Okay, you'll go to St. John's too? Okay, all right. And you're gonna, okay, we'll come back to courthouse after that and see if there's anything else we need to
Yep.
do. And let's see. Commissioner Stevens and I attended the comp plan meeting last Thursday at Pacer. Pretty good turnout for a Thursday during the day. Went to Pacer City Council last week, went to Mark meeting yesterday, and that's about all I've got, what we're doing today.
City Commission was canceled last night due to the sirens going off, so got the night off for that. And
But your phone blew up on other things, though.
yeah, and then yesterday attended the Live Well Leavenworth County and Suicide Prevention Coalition meeting, so.
Anything going on in your world?
I met with the local workforce lady, Shonda. We're working on some programs for the homeless, getting in some work programs set up for homeless people here in town.
Cool. Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Not spend the night yet?
No, not yet.
Anything else? And we'll adjourn.